Now, if you're balling on a budget like I am, this will get you fixed up right quick as I eat my little Debbie cake. What's going on, guys? I'm Elliot. This is Everything Elliot, and we're in my shop. As you can see behind me on the lift is my 2017 F350 6.7 Powerstroke with 50,000 miles on it. And I'm pretty ashamed that I have to say this, but we got to fix the transmission lines. Now, this is a pretty common problem for these Fords. You can see right there, that transmission line is rotted and is leaking, all due to this plastic spacer that's on there. You can see back here, there's the other portion of the transmission line. That's fine because, well, there's no plastic holder to get it all rusty. It's leaking, it's really rusty there. And then back here where there's no plastic holder, no rust. So what my intention today is, we're gonna do the cheap, easy fix. I know I'm probably gonna catch some flack for this, but we're gonna cut these rusty portions out, and I picked up some rubber hose. This rubber hose is for the transmission cooler lines, so I know that rubber hose is gonna work. I went over to Napa, picked some up. Now, when you pick up hose, if you're gonna do it this way, instead of buying the whole lines, you wanna make sure that you get good quality hydraulic hose that's made for like ATF and stuff. So I got some hose, got some clamps, got the transmission line disconnect tool in here, hopefully. And the reason that I'm doing it this way, instead of buying the entire line, I'll show you. So this line starts right here, right there, and right there. Oh, you'll have to excuse the heater. I think a bearing went bad in the blower, so it's very noisy. But yeah, this line goes up, over, transitions into this rubber line right here, goes up next to the motor, between the motor and the cradle. And you can see I got this big long cradle. Then comes out from the cradle right back there, and then up here and connects over there. Well, the issue with the 6.7 is you actually have to disconnect the motor mounts and lift the motor up a little bit to get those lines in, and that's not something that I'm really willing to do. So we're gonna get started. I'm gonna start by disconnecting these two lines. Oh my God. There's just so many noises in here. This little plastic sheet just comes off on both sides here. This one, same thing there. Loosen this nut, and then we'll slap her in there and get her out. You almost don't hear the bad bearing in the heater when the air compressor's going. It's fantastic. Well, I'm gonna get to work getting those lines off, and I'll be back with you guys once they're disconnected. All right, so let me give you an idea of what I got going on here. Got these lines off here, and it was not one of those connectors like I thought it would be. Well, at least I couldn't get that tool in there, so I just unbolted it, which worked for me. Both unbolted without issue. Pop these clips off that are holding it together, just a screwdriver, you just pry them apart. What I have to do now is those lines need to be cut right where the rubber hose meets, because that's where I'm going to attach the new rubber hose. And I couldn't get my pipe threader in there, so I actually had to run to the old Ace Hardware, old trusty, and get me a mini tubing cutter. A little low clearance, so I'll be able to get it in there. Once I get those pipes cut, I'll be able to pull this whole section out here. I'll be able to cut this pipe somewhere in here, get everything nice and cleaned up, and that'll be my new attachment point. I'm gonna put a bevel on these with my brake tool, my brake line tool, and that'll give the rubber hose a nice connection point. So I'm gonna get this pipe cut up there with the mini tubing cutter, and we'll be back with you guys in a little bit. All right, let's give you an idea where I'm at with this thing. I've got the 2 pipes cut there. Nice clean cut with that nice little cutter. That was perfect. So I was able to pull this whole section out. I brought it over to my workbench. Shame on you, Ford. Look at these things. 4 years old, 50,000 miles. Junk. Absolute junk. So, I cut the ends off with the pipe cutter, cleaned them up a little bit, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw a bevel in there. So, that fitting in there, once I put that bevel on there, that'll make it nice and tight. So we'll throw that bevel on there. I don't know if it's called a bevel. Yeah, that'll be good enough for me, I guess. All right, well, I'm going to do that on this pipe as well. And then I'm also going to take this and do this on the truck side. So I'll be back when I've got all this stuff crimped out a little bit and we're ready to put everything back together. Oh, I also cleaned this up on my wire wheel. You know, it might be a good idea for you to do the same if you're doing something like this. And then before you reassemble everything, make sure you give everything a good once over with brake clean to clean it out, including your gaskets, inside the tube, the ends and stuff. You want to make sure this is nice and clean before you put it back together. All right, so I got everything hooked back up. Let me show you what I'm working with here. Now, if you're balling on a budget like I am, this will get you fixed up right quick as I eat my little Debbie cake. Now, I don't know if it makes a difference, but I like to alternate the way that these pinch around the hose. Like I said, no idea if it makes a difference, but in my mind it does. So that's what I do. I got everything tightened back up. What I'm gonna do now is take my light down, gonna set the truck down a bit, start it up, take a peek-sees underneath, see if it leaks in at all. Hopefully it doesn't leak. Hopefully I don't have to do something else. Let's find out. Definitely just broke my light that I keep on my lift post. Yeah, I forgot to remove that. All right, let's fire this old hog up and see if it's got any leaks. Take a look. Nothing. Anything over there? Not a drop. There are definitely going to be people that tell me this is not good enough, that you should have bought the whole line. And if I got a way to fix something, why not do it that way? This was way easier. It worked. No leaks. If I can do it for cheap, I'm gonna do it for cheap. If it works just the same, there's no difference. Why not do it that way? Not to mention, I don't want to lift the motor up. Let me turn the truck off here. See if I can get into this thing without falling. All right, truck's off. I should mention that now that I've done this, you need to check your fluid. I did lose some fluid And also I would recommend doing a tranny fluid flush. I'm actually doing that next week. I'm waiting for my parts to come in. I could not find ATF for this truck at any store locally. I had to order it online. So I would recommend doing a flush after doing something like this. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to drive my truck for a couple days before the flush, but I cleaned everything pretty good. So I don't think it'll be too much of an issue. Other than that, I think that's gonna be it for today's video. Yeah, and if you have any questions, leave a comment below. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.